This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Incredibly sexy, incredibly smart. Freida Pinto on the telephone line all the way from LA. Good morning, Freida. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
It's actually not really good morning my time, just to let you know. It's almost ready for good night.
No partying or late nights for tonight, obviously. Since you said
None of it. It's a boring Tuesday night.
How does it feel being Vogue India's 6th anniversary cover girl, Freida Pinto?
Well, it feels really good. I mean, I did a cover with them ages ago. That was actually at the start of my career. So to actually do an anniversary cover, it feels really good.
You've shot
feels like, okay, I've come a long way, and I've got a long way to go from here.
Mm-hmm. You've shot entirely in black. What does black mean to you in particular with this Vogue shoot?
Well, funnily enough, I'm wearing all black right now. I hope I'm not in an all black phase because, considering I'm from India and I embrace all my color and the vibrancy of it. But I do think there's something really dangerous and sexy and classic about black. So I kind of like the fact that they played a lot more with black. It's very easy. You always see me in color on the red carpet, so it's nice that the magazine covers let me play around with a little bit of darkness.
I actually have the magazine here in front of me, smoking hot, I tell you this. There's so many looks in black in that Vogue photo shoot. Which one is your absolute favorite amongst them, and why? Which one would you pick?
What was my favorite? I mean, it's been a while since we shot it, but I think I don't know if there's like a full-length shot of it, but there was this really cool Burberry dress that I wore, which has a gold kind of a neckline, and I really like. I think that shot is more of a close-up shot, but the dress itself fit me so well that I have to say that ended up becoming one of my favorites. And the D squared is really nice as well.
That's right. You've shot with a black horse and a black cat. How did that feel? Are you like an animal lover? Do you have pets at home?
I have to say, yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if I'm really, really good with animals, and I think I'm better with babies. But I do feel really sad when I see animals in studios and closed environments, and I know it was all ethically done, but it just makes me sad. So I kind of I prefer seeing them in the wildlife and where they're actually meant to be. Cats, of course, they're like more domesticated anyway, so that's okay. But the horses, I was really worried for him or her.
Mm-hmm. California-based Jennifer Perry is your yoga guru, Freida Pinto. Talk about her. How much has yoga helped you? It's obvious from these pictures that you're really taken to it. You've taken to it seriously.
Well, yeah, she's definitely someone I attribute a lot of my health and fitness to. The yoga that she and I do is really not all about reach for the sky and those mystical things that people say and the very misconstrued idea of yoga that people have, especially in America. But what she and I really do is really focusing on something that is more holistic and being more centered in not just in that 1.5 hour yoga practice, but even after that and outside of that, which is what I think is really a lot more fulfilling and it's like yoga for life, it's not just yoga for the 1 hour that you're on the mat. She's amazing. She and I just had a yoga session yesterday, and we're going to have one more tomorrow, and I look forward to them. So I think after so many years of trying to find out what I really enjoy in exercise and health and fitness, I think I've found it. It's actually going back to my roots. It's going back to India.
Yeah. Working with the legend Woody Allen, how is that? What kind of a guy is he? There's so much curiosity surrounding him, Freida Pinto.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's what everyone says he is, but then everyone has their own experience as well. Everyone says, he's quirky and he's shy, and he definitely has something that is a bit edgy and awkward about him, but that is what we all love about him, and that's what we love in his films as well. So I do feel like most of his films are extensions of his personality and what he really is, and his characters also reflect parts of him because he's mostly written most of his films as well. And I feel that to work with someone like that is a real honor, who has basically made a brand out of himself, and you end up working under that brand name. It's definitely an honor. So I'd love to work with him again if that ever happens.
You just wrapped up Night of Cups with Terrence Malick. Tell your Indian fans a bit about the Night of Cups and Terrence Malick.
Well, my Indian fans, as well as my American fans and my British fans, are not going to know anything about the Night of Cups because we don't talk much about Terrence Malick films till they actually come out.
But Julian Schnabel's a film, you playing a Palestinian woman, that must have been tough. Do you have to read a lot, Freida, and research on the conflict?
Well, absolutely. I think any film that you do that has something that is based in history or even with someone who's actually a living person and you're portraying a character that that has actually lived and not completely based in fiction, requires a lot of background work and research and time that you spend working on the character. And I am one of those who feels very uncomfortable going on set, however big or small the part is, if I haven't done my research or if I haven't prepped long and hard enough. And with Julian film, I actually spent about a month and a half, actually 2 months in Israel before I actually shot the film, spending time with Palestinian families and hearing their point of view, and also actually spending time with a lot of Israeli kids, because it's very important to understand both sides of the story while portraying a character and bringing out the truth in it.
Tarsem Singh and you coming together, that's really exciting for us, Freida, considering both of you, are Indian. I believe Tarsem has a pet name for you. Tell us what it is and why, and playing the Greek oracle in the movie The Immortals. A bit about that experience too, please.
I think only an Indian can get away by calling another Indian brown. And white person did call me that. Some people, I'm okay with it, but some people might find it offensive or even racist. But Tarsem had all the liberty to call me a brown pakoda on the film set, and so that's exactly what I was for him. And it was a great experience. Besides just being a brown pakoda, he made the brown pakoda look as glistening and glamorous as possible in the film. So I think he did a great job.
Other than in Michael Winterbottom's Trishna and of course Slumdog Millionaire, we haven't seen you do a cliched Indian girl role. Freida, are you purposely staying away from that? Just asking out of curiosity.
Well, don't you think I should stay away from that? It's so important that I stay away from roles like that, just because we are trying to put forth an idea of an India that the Western world, and actually the world, why just the Western world, the world has not really seen in cinema. It has been, the goodness gracious me kind of comedy where you have that typical Indian character or the Indian girl looking at getting married. Those typical characters that you see. It's a thing of the past. Those actors had to do it because they had to earn their bread and butter somehow, and it's fair enough, they had to do it now, but now we're living in our world is a lot more globalized right now. We've come together, and you look at New York itself and you look at the streets around you and you go, oh my God, there's like people of almost every different ethnicity and culture walking around. So why not embrace that in films as well?
Everybody's asking, when is Freida Pinto's Hindi film debut going to happen? Do you have an answer, Freida?
Aap bataiye. You tell me. When are you going to send me my film script?
Personally, I'm such a huge fan. I would like to see you in every film, every time I go to the movies. But I'm saying, why hasn't it happened, and when is it going to happen?
I just passed a store called Frida Tacos. Anyway, I have to say that when the right script and the right moment comes, it is going to happen. I can't sit and speculate that it's going to be 2013 or 2014, and I can't have the Indian media and the Western media speculating as well. It just, some things just happen at the right time. I was waiting for a break when I was 18, but it only happened when I was 22, actually. So I think you just have to wait for the right moment. You can't rush certain things.
You wore a suit for a concert in London and a gown with a tie for another event. I just love it. What's your personal fashion preference, and how much is your stylish Elizabeth Stewart, who also styles Julia Roberts and Kate Blanchett, responsible for that? And how much of input do you give? A bit about your fashion.
Right. Okay, let's see. When it comes, it all started with Elizabeth Stewart, actually, and with George Katsiopoulos, who was my stylist back then during the Oscar time. And they really kind of opened me up to, world fashion, not just American fashion, but really world fashion. And I always had this desire to dress myself up and, just play around with fashion and be stylish, just in general. So I feel it has been like one of those play dates that I've always wanted to have, that this first film actually gave me the liberty and the means to play with. So I just feel it's a mix of both. Sometimes I do it myself, sometimes I do it with Elizabeth Stewart, and my personal style is always classic. So it's not very difficult to find something in that realm, and I always mix it up with a little bit of edge to it as and when I can.
Last few questions. What do you miss most about Mumbai when you're traveling, Freida? Tell us about that.
Besides home-cooked food, I miss, quite a bit. I miss vada pav, I miss pani puri, I miss bhel puri. The typical street food, Indian chaats that I've always grown up on, literally. It's hard for me to eat it off the streets now. At, Juhu Chowpatty, I can't really do that anymore because I get ill quite easily. Elko in Bandra, they help me. Well, they better give me free pani puri and bhel puri for the rest of the year now that I have had a little plug-in for them.
I'll probably go and buy the whole shop for you, but that's beside the
No,
point.
thank you.
But, the Vogue article, for example, says that you're basically a Mangalorean fish person. So, pretty much the food you
Oh,
grew up
yeah,
with.
that's why I said home-cooked food.
Which city do you
Yes.
love most? Where would you like to live other than Mumbai? Now, we've talked about Mumbai. So, do you own houses in other cities, or are you more like a rent and hotel kind of person? But if you were
I'm
eventually
more
to
of a
buy...
rent and hotel person. I'm more of a rent and hotel person because I think I have not yet figured out the whole how do you settle in one place. I feel like a nomad so much that it's hard for me to think of settling in one particular place. But I have to say, besides Mumbai, if I had to pick another city, I would say London. And that simply comes because every time I go to London, I mean, the weather is probably the only minus point, but I don't know, it's just so beautiful. I feel like at home. Maybe it's a history we share with England, even though it's in the past and, 300 years of colonization. When you walk around, there's Indian food, some of the best Indian restaurants in London, and I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I just find it so stimulating and culturally so diverse.
The ladies in the radio station will murder me if I don't ask you about the dishy James Franco. I believe you had high fever while shooting for Rise of the Planet of the Apes with James Franco. Tell us about that ordeal and what kind of a guy is James?
Oh my God, that's like a very direct question. For the girls, for all the ladies in the studio, James Franco is every bit of the charming person that he is on screen. He's very, very talented, and I call him the Renaissance man because he seems to be dabbling in everything all at once, anything and everything, and seemingly he's succeeding at it as well. And yes, I did shoot the film with a very high fever, and it's one of those experiences that some parts of it I just don't remember from being so drugged with, paracetamol. There we go, paracetamol, free subscription, free paracetamol for the next 1 year.
Your favorite causes and charities? You've always one who's spoken up for charities and causes. What you'd really feel for now?
Has always been the same. That hasn't changed, Hrishi. It's always been the girl child and girl empowerment. And I say this time and time again. It's not that I'm trying to create some kind of alienation between boys and girls and trying to make it all disparate. But the truth is that when you look at the numbers and you hear that out of the 104 million children who are not in school, 66 million happen to be girls, you automatically go, oh my God, this is something that needs to be worked on. And it needs to be worked on with more voices as loud and powerful as they can be. So we're not trying to alienate the boys, but we definitely need to focus on and create more of a balance in the world as well by getting the girls more empowered.
Last question. What music are you listening to, Freida Pinto? And your favorite international retro song?
I love, I'm a big fan of Boney M.
Wow.
They've always been one of my favorites. So Daddy Cool, I'm going to pick that one. I like Belfast. I like Plantation Boy. I mean, I grew up on them, literally. My mum played the cassette over and over again. So now if anyone says words like Belfast, I'm going to Belfast, the song just plays in my head. I'm just grooving in my head.
Freida Pinto from me, Hrishi K, and everybody at 94.3 Radio 1. Thank you very much for this chat, and best of luck for everything that you do. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank
See
you.
Bye.